All right, welcome everybody to episode 5 of Aggressively Speaking. My name is Tony Dabrowski.
I'm Troy Frank. What's up?
And welcome back to our podcast.
Jesus Christ, what a start.
Lord, what a start. Troy made me laugh before we started the pod, and now I can't stop laughing. So, we have a fun show planned this week. Kind of more laid back almost. You know, the past couple of weeks we've been talking about some stressful Lions muck, some Pistons muck, and we do still have to talk about the Pistons today, but at least from my point, it's not like anything stressful. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think this week is gonna be Lions free.
That's good. That's really good.
You gotta need one of those detox weeks.
That's really good. So yeah, Lions free today. We will start the Pistons though eventually here. We'll also talk about the NFL playoffs. Super Bowl 54 is obviously set. We'll talk a little bit about that. You wanted to talk about the Houston Astros scandal. I want to talk about that too because that's like
I actually want to see John's opinion on the whole thing, considering he's a non-fan, and I want to get his opinion on the matter.
It's kind of up his alley too in a way.
How so?
Because of the cameras and stuff.
Yeah, I guess. But
we're gonna get John involved this episode.
Yeah, John, you got to stick around.
I know I was cooking a burger for you.
Well, you are, but.
We're doing this segment later.
Yeah,
so
we'll save this for last.
Yeah, you have time.
So we'll have you. We'll have you on the finale.
Start studying stats.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Look up Houston Astros 2017 to 2019.
No, you don't have to do that. So we got a fun show planned this week. But first of all, while John cooks Troy's dinner, let's go ahead
Didn't
and
have to phrase it like that.
This episode is already off the rails. So let's go ahead and start with the Pistons because they're obviously back in the news. At the time of recording this, it is Wednesday afternoon, and Reggie Jackson is actually coming back tonight. So, yeah. John's talking.
You just asked me if I wanted to put hot spice on my burger. No, thank you.
Ugh. This episode's already off the rails. I started the intro by laughing. Now we're talking about food. So yeah, Reggie Jackson's back tonight at the time of recording this pod. But also more trade rumors.
Yeah.
This one involving Derrick Rose.
Thank God. I was almost thinking he was untradeable for some reason.
So the report from Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports on Monday night was that, quote, the Lakers, Sixers, and multiple teams with championship aspirations have interest in Derrick Rose. Now, in the Chris Haynes report, he did mention, Hayes that is, that Rose is happy with the Pistons and he doesn't want to be traded, but he also said, and I quote, that's beyond his control. So, you know, throughout the past couple of weeks, we've been getting the sense that the Pistons didn't want to trade Derrick Rose, and I still feel like they want to keep him for next season. I completely get it. I mean, Derrick Rose is a guy who, I tweeted this out on Monday night, and I still stand by it. The Pistons, whether or not they trade Derrick Rose, I don't think they're in a bad spot with him, because if you trade him, you know the Pistons aren't going to trade him unless they get a return that they really feel is going to be beneficial towards the future. While if you keep him, you have a respected vet that the young guys on the roster all look up to, and you can bring Derrick back next season to help you out as well. So, at the same time, though, I do completely understand that his value is never going to be higher. I mean, statistically, outside of the MVP years, Derrick Rose is having the best statistical season of his career, again, outside of the MVP years. And also, you just don't know, kind of like the Blake Griffin situation. You don't know if he's going to get hurt and then be screwed, you know? So I get if the Pistons do trade him. I get if the Pistons also don't trade him. And as I was mentioning, you know, we've been getting the sense over the past couple of weeks that the Pistons did not want to trade him. You know, there's been reports leaking out there that, oh, we don't want to trade him unless he wants to be traded. But I've always said, you know damn well, the way D Rose is playing, if he's healthy around the trade deadline, someone's going to call about him. And if you're the Pistons, you have to pick up the phone. So I'll throw it to you. What are your thoughts on the whole Derrick Rose trade rumor situation?
I think it's absolutely necessary you have to trade him. I don't think there's any situation that would leave you to need him for the rest of the season on this Pistons team.
Not this season, no.
No.
Next season's
different. No, even next season. No, next season, rebuilding season. I think we need. What you want? You think it's a win now season next year?
I don't think the Pistons want to have a full rebuild. I'm getting the sense that the Pistons want to treat this as like a miniature rebuild on the fly / retool.
There's no retooling to be had. What are you going to retool this 41 win team?
Well, they're going to have They're going to have cap space at the end of the season. You consider Andre's contract is up, Reggie's, Langston's, Josh Smith. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, obviously, but I think there's upwards of. And 60 mil available for the Pistons this offseason.
Okay, and they're going to pull a Knicks and...
No. I didn't say they're going to spend it all. I'm just saying...
Well, then what do you want them to do with it? I mean, there's no chance they get I don't even know who's going to be available.
No.
Because I'm not looking that far ahead.
No, they're not going to spend...
They're not going to put it down on like a superstar if that's what you're going to want.
No, that's not what I'm implying... I want to see, or that's also not implying what I think the Pistons are going to do. I'm just saying, with how bad the Eastern Conference is, I still think the Pistons are going to want to go into next season and say, hey, let's see what the young guys can do, and let's see what veteran mentors such as D. Rose, Luke Kennard at this point, because it will be his 4th season, so on and so forth, can do. That's if they keep Derrick Rose. That's what I'm trying to say, but continue.
Well, I don't see the reason why they would have him on the team next year. Personally, I think they should go full rebuild. I think they need to build around the talent that they have and start over. I mean, I think they just need to keep this team low profile until Blake Griffin leaves, honestly. I think the moment Blake Griffin leaves is the moment you start putting the pieces together. Because I think that is when the real money starts clearing up. I think that's when you can start gaining some favor, putting the pieces together through the draft. And I think keeping Derrick Rose is just the wrong thing to do. I mean, he is a ticking time bomb, 100%. It's guaranteed he's going to be injured again at some point. And like you said, this is the season of his career, the twilight of his career. And it's like Blake Griffin last year. You should have traded him last year. You didn't, and now you're stuck with him. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen if you don't do it this year with Derrick Rose.
I don't think you'll be stuck with D. Rose. It will be a 1-year contract next
I know,
year.
But you're still stuck with his contract next year. It's just sitting on the bench.
It's only $7.5 million, though. I mean, it's not like a Blake deal where it's upwards of $40 million. But I do see your point.
No, but you're not getting anything back for that guy sitting on the bench.
No, I know.
That's my point.
No, I know. I see your point. And that's why I also said if the Pistons deal him, it makes sense. You know, because again, you're not trading.
There's no move that you should. I don't think there's any other move that you should be doing. I think Andre and Derrick should be gone, and if they're not,
well, what if the markets
incompetence?
What if the markets don't align for them? Andre's trade market, it seems like, is not there.
I think at some point, anybody offers you a deal, that's even not what you wanted, but that's called compromise. You take it because he's leaving regardless. It doesn't matter where he goes for me at this point. As long as you're getting anything back. 2nd round pick, okay, fine. I know everybody wants that 1st round pick. It's so coveted. Everybody, it's exciting. But nobody's offering you that for Andre Drummond. And, I mean, if he leaves, you're getting nothing. So 2nd round pick or not, take it or leave it. You got to take it. And I think, that's just it.
So you're full-blown rebuild with this basketball team, obviously.
Yes. I don't see where you can build a team that's competitive with Blake Griffin eating up that much salary cap space.
Well, you can't do anything with Blake Griffin, though.
I know. That's the point. You rebuild while Blake is here. You get guys that aren't expensive at all. And you wait till Blake is gone, and then you spend the money that he left open for you.
I mean, here's my thing with the whole Pistons rebuild, and we've talked about this before. I talked about this on Trash Talk earlier today. I think the Pistons are in a better spot than people think. And what I mean by that is that they do have young guys here that they can build around for the future. You look at guys like Sekou Doumbouya. You look at a Bruce Brown, who has been better this season offensively and defensively. Christian Wood, Savi Mihailuk, so on and so forth. Like, a lot of people look at the Pistons and they're like, oh yeah, they're screwed. I don't necessarily think they're screwed. Like, I think they do have some young pieces that they can use in the future. And that's why I kind of look at a Pistons rebuild and I kind of go, do we have to do a quote-unquote full-blown rebuild? When I think full-blown rebuild, I think what the Tigers did. You know, they traded Justin Verlander, JD, Justin Upton, so on and so forth. That was a full rebuild. Different sport, but same category. Right. Well, that's neither here or there. The Tigers are a dumpster fire.
Well, I think comparing them to the Tigers is kind of...
Comparing them from the Tigers to the standpoint of that's what a full rebuild to me looks like. The Tigers, when they started their rebuild, had nothing. The Pistons, they already have pieces. So I don't necessarily think they have to go into a, quote, full-blown rebuild where everybody goes, you know? But at the same time, I do think, yeah, trade Andre if you can. Trade Derrick if you can. Though I love Derrick Rose, I would prefer for them to get something back for him instead of just kind of holding on to him and doing the Blake Griffin routine last year.
Yeah. Plus, this team absolutely cannot win anymore. This team is a borderline playoff team because of how bad the Eastern Conference is, and it's scary to think that they might try for the 8th seed.
Well, let's think about what that statement for a minute. The Pistons are not going to tank. The NBA and NHL are so different than the NFL. Like, people get upset all the time on Twitter when the Pistons or Wings win one game. And the thing I always point to is the fact that they're both 82-game seasons. One win isn't necessarily going to damage you that much. In the NFL, it can. In the NBA and NHL, I think it's a little bit different. But at the same time, the Pistons are only 3 games out. But Tom Gores has said, again, Tom Gores, the owner of the Detroit Pistons, has said, we want to be more than an 8th seed. So I don't necessarily think the Pistons are going to go into the trade deadline, even if they're a couple games out, and be like, well, we can go for the 8th seed again. They already learned their lesson.
It's not that they are going to try to go for the 8th seed. It's that they might end up like backing into the 8th seed. I mean that's if they can't trade Drummond and can't trade Derrick Rose, then you're stuck with the 2 guys that can get you to the 8th seed. And that's scary for me.
Me personally,
that means that the even the rebuild on the fly that you propose, that will be gone. Because then they won't have a lottery pick, and it just pushes everything 1 year down the road. And maybe that's a good thing in my case, but you're not getting anything back for those 2 guys. You make the playoffs, you don't have a good pick this year. It just kind of screws everything up, and it would be very Pistons for the last decade of them.
My thing with that scenario is this. If the Brooklyn Nets don't get their crap together and they somehow miss the playoffs and the Pistons get that 8th seed, while I would prefer to miss the playoffs this year to have a better chance in the lottery.
Don't say it.
Playing the Bucks will not be fun. That's what I was going to say. I don't know what you thought I was going to say.
Well, you set it up for a positive. Like, making the playoffs will be a positive. That's how you set it up. So I was like, don't say it.
No, I mean, it would be good for the young guys to get experience, but at the same time, they did that last year. You know, the Bucks. You don't want to play the Bucks again, the 8th seed.
No, and they're even more hungry than before.
Again, though, if the Nets somehow screw it up and the Pistons just back in, it's not entirely all their fault from what you want them to do. Like, the Pistons are doing everything everyone wants them to do.
No.
They're selling at they're going to sell the trade deadline.
There's no way they make the playoffs if they don't have Andre Drummond and Derrick Rose to lead this team. But what I'm saying is,
I don't know if they made the playoffs regardless, but
I'm just saying is there any chance they make the playoffs without Andre Drummond or Derrick Rose?
There's no chance they make it with or without them, in my opinion. Dude, the Pistons are bad.
Like, so are the Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets also have Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, and we have Derrick Rose that's playing almost as good as him at the moment. It seems like.
This is the same Pistons team that a week ago lost to the Pelicans at home in overtime. Dude, they've lost to the Bulls all season long, and
we're 2 games back of the Nets. You can't say this is like such a bad Pistons team when the Nets almost have the same record.
They're awful. I've watched every game this year.
I know that they're awful. Half the Eastern Conference is awful.
I'm aware.
And I'm saying that this awful team has 2 good players that on their own could be enough to make it in this awful conference. And those 2 players need to be gone. Otherwise, this team is in danger of backing into the playoffs. Because they're as good as Kyrie Irving is, they're only 2 games ahead of the Pistons.
I don't know about all that. Kyrie Irving's
Well, you just made the argument they have Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, because I eventually believe Kyrie Irving is going to get his crap together.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's just they're so close right now. They are in the playoff race.
But my point is,
and they have 2 good players.
I don't think they'll be that close later. Like we also have to consider the fact that this team's going to look different in literally 2 weeks. Langston will be gone. Markieff Morris might be gone. Derrick Rose, he's going to get interest, and I would be stunned if a team like the Lakers didn't say, here's a first, here's a Quinn Cook, whatever. Here you go. Like, I just find it hard to believe with the way Derrick Rose is playing that he'll be here in 2 weeks. That's my overall thesis.
Who's the team with the trade exception that we saw on Twitter that me and you went back and forth on?
The trade exception? Yeah,
the guy, there was a comment that you made, I think it was on the Lakers. Like, you trade him, you get these, like, bench players back, and the guy's like, well, they got a $14 million trade exception. I think that's for Drummond, actually, from the Mavs to...
I'm not going to lie, I have no idea what you're talking about.
When the Powell going down last night, this is recorded on Wednesday, by the way. Yeah. I know you guys don't see it until, like, Thursday or Friday, but we recorded on Wednesday. Powell going down last night, and you said trading Drummond to the Mavericks to fill up that hole. And the guy
opens the door, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea. And the guy said, well, they have a trade exception that you'll have to take in. Otherwise, you're going to have to take a huge contract.
The Pistons are going to have to take in a huge contract anyway. They need to match the salary of Andre Drummond.
I think if they trade you the trade exception, that'll be fine.
They need to take on a fat contract anyway.
They need to take on a $14 million deal at that point.
They need to take on big money anyway to match the salaries. Like in the offseason, you could just trade players for picks.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the Mavericks have a guy that's $14 million that is expendable, and they trade us the trade exception as well. That'll match the salary, and that'll be enough. So that's all we need.
I have no idea how the trading system works and matching salaries and stuff. I usually turn that off in 2K. But
I don't. I play hardcore GM mode.
No, that's cool. That's why I can't be a GM. But yeah, I mean, like I was just saying though, as my overall point before we got into this whole rebuild thing was, Derrick Rose is somebody who how do I want to phrase this? He's somebody who I believe if the Pistons want to trade him, they can.
Oh, for sure. I think he's a lot easier to ship off than Drummond. I just think both of them need to go. I think that's imperative.
I still don't think this team's making the playoffs regardless. Like, let's say something happens and the Pistons aren't able...
whether or not they can make the playoffs with this current roster or not, I think...
They can't.
I think you just need to bury that even slight possibility, even that 0.1 possibility, you need to bury that.
The Pistons aren't going to trade Derrick Rose so they miss the playoffs, though. Like, if you're only trading Derrick Rose because, like I said, you really think the return's going to be that good.
No, but I think you need to...
I would not, me personally, I would not trade Derrick Rose for the giggles. And just for the simple point of, and I quote, I want to miss the playoffs. You have to get something back for him.
You don't dump him.
Okay.
Obviously. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying he just needs to be gone, period.
When you said he needs to go, period, that's what I thought you meant by that.
Yeah.
Like, similar to Andre Drummond, you said you'll take anything. I thought you meant Derrick Rose, you'll take anything.
No.
Okay.
Drummond's a completely different situation.
Okay.
I just said he's harder to trade.
Okay.
Because
I was going to say, if that's your stance with D Rose, I would completely disagree. They had to get something for Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Something. And even Andre Drummond to an extent. But, again, his market, it seems like it's kind of not
I think that
there.
return that you put on Derrick Rose from the Lakers, I think that's a pretty good return.
Well, again, I'm also not a GM of a basketball team. I just kind of threw that out
that's a pretty
there.
solid return. I think
like a trade,
those players have left less to offer the Lakers than Derrick Rose would ever do. And they have less to offer, I said. And I think that's the right move to make. I think you almost hit the nail spot on. If not, you did.
I mean, the trade would be more than a first and like Quinn Cook. But yeah, you get my point.
You said Quinn Cook and another player.
You have to get something for Derrick Rose. Andre, I'm kind of in the boat with you with Andre from the standpoint of get something. Because he's leaving anyway. The Pistons have made it very clear they don't want to pay Andre Drummond.
Exactly.
So he'll be gone. But Derrick Rose, no. That's someone who I firmly believe you should really get something back for him. Because I'll go back to what I said earlier. Though you may disagree, Derrick Rose is also, and this is a big part to a rebooting team or whatever you want to phrase it as. The young guys on this roster, they do look up to Derrick Rose and they do look at him as a mentor. I think having the leadership of Derrick Rose is valuable to a young guy like Sekou, Savi, Bruce, so on and so forth. Don't trade him just for the giggles, you know? And I'm not saying that's what you're implying. I'm just saying in general.
But I do think you already have that leadership in Blake Griffin if you need it.
Blake's dead, though.
He's still on the team. He's still sitting there with the team.
Is he? I haven't seen him on the bench.
Has he not been on the bench?
I don't think he can be. He's dead.
I thought he still can show up in a suit and tie.
He can, but I don't think he's there. I haven't seen Blake there unless I'm blind. I am blind. I have glasses, but I haven't seen him. But, I mean, next year you can make that argument. Oh, yeah, D Rose is gone, but you'll have Blake next year to be that leader.
Exactly. So for 6 months, are you going to really, complain about not having that leader on the team?
No, I'm not going to complain about it. If the Pistons don't trade Derrick Rose, I'm not going to come in here and be like, I know you're pissed, but it's still good because of this. No, I'll say...
But you know what I mean? Like... Okay, we don't have a leader on the team until Blake comes back. Well, he's coming back in the fall.
Do you see my point, though, that it is valuable to at least have that presence there, and because of that, I would not want to trade him for the giggles?
Sorta, kinda.
I'm not trading Derrick Rose just for some stupid
I'm not
return.
saying for the giggles. I'm not even ever applying that. I don't know where you got that information.
I wasn't implying that you were saying that.
I don't even know why you brought it up. Trading him for the giggles.
Because I thought that's what you were implying when you said you'll take anything for Andre.
So I don't know why we're still talking about trading him for the giggles.
Because I'm just making a point here.
Regardless. He needs to be gone. We need to get something for him. Drummond can just be traded for a bag of peanuts because the bag of peanuts is more than air. So... At this point,
according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, the Mavericks are looking for someone of size who can score 15 a night.
Well, guess what? We got a guy that can score 20.
And also grab 20 boards. So
there you go.
We'll see with the Pistons.
And is a top defensive center in the league.
Very underrated fact by you. Yes.
Yes.
I thought that Andre doesn't play defense.
Top 10 in all defensive rating.
All he does is rebound.
Top 10 in all defensive stats in the league.
I thought all people telling me all he does is rebound.
No, people tell me. I know he gets like 13 rebounds a night or something like that.
Dude, 13's a slow night for Andre.
I know, that's what I'm saying to these people.
Like, it's not, we're going off topic here, but it's funny. Like, seriously, when Andre has like a 17, 15 night, like, that's like really good for an average guy. But for Andre, I'm like, slow night in the office.
Dude, it's funny when I'm playing like a franchise mode in 2K, and you go through like the simulation and stuff, and 2K doesn't even know how to quantify how good Drummond is at rebounding. Like he'll average like in a 2K season like 14 rebounds a night. And it's like, this is not even close to accurate.
This is going off topic here, but I was talking about this on Trash Talk with my co-host earlier today. I want to bring it up to you. I just talk about Andre, and like, we know Andre Drummond's good. He's on a championship caliber team. He's not a first or second option, but
he's third or fourth.
Yeah, but he's a good basketball player. You know, we're not implying that he's not good at all.
I'm not implying that at all. Try his effort.
Well, that's a different story. But as a basketball player, he's not bad. And I was talking about this on Trash Talk today. It just sucks that we've had players like D. Rose, who, again, outside of the MVP seasons, he's having statistically the best year of his career right now, and we're gutter trash. Blake last year, in my opinion, the best season of his career. 41-41, swept in the first round, and his leg fell off.
I think it's way better than any of his previous seasons on the Clippers, because I think last year he was an all-around player. I think on the Clippers he was just a bona fide big man.
And that's my point. Blake had the best season of his career, and we didn't go anywhere. Not his fault. That's just the team. Andre, we've had, honest to God, probably one of the best rebounders in basketball and one of the best defensive big men in basketball. And we didn't go anywhere with him. Like, it just really goes to show you how mediocre the Pistons have been. Yeah. You know, it sucks because we've had some good players come around here. It's kind of similar to the Tigers situation. They had some really good players come around there, and they just didn't do anything.
Well, the Tigers did win 95 games at one point.
Oh, boo-hoo. Where's that World Series championship? That's all I care about.
That's the difference I'm talking about.
That's all I care about.
It's not like the Pistons went 54 and 28 and then still lost in the first round. It's like their best was 44 wins.
I know. That's my overall point. You know, Blake, D. Rose, Andre, they've all had some really good seasons here, and we just haven't been able to do anything. And that's not their fault. It's just management's fault. Also not Ed Stefanski's fault. Really pointing towards that one guy.
Good old ESPN correspondent. SVG.
He's not ESPN anymore.
No, they got rid of him.
He's on NBA TV/TNT, I think. Oh, wow. Yeah, Mr. Stan Van Gundy.
He was actually probably already there to begin with.
Yeah, Mr. Stan Van Gundy. That's who I was implying to.
Yeah.
He really kind of screwed up this franchise.
TNT correspondent. Let's have Shaq call into SVG to get his analysis on this player.
But again, I mean, the Pistons, like I mentioned, they do have some nice pieces to build around. Guys like Sekou, Christian Wood, Bruce, and Savi. Also Luke, too.
Great trade pieces.
No, stop it. Stop it. Kidding. So, yeah, we'll see what the Pistons do within the next few weeks. I believe they're going to make moves. I mean, it's been reported numerous times the Pistons are still sellers. Like, with every win the Pistons have got over the past couple of weeks, people are always on Twitter like, oh my God, they're ruining the tank. It's like, guys, they're still sellers. Like, a couple weeks ago...
they do, the more they win, the worse their final season record will be.
But people think people think them winning one game is going to influence them to buy. That's not happening.
Well, I mean, they are 2 games back.
No. That is
Brooklyn loses. Pistons win.
That is absolutely not happening. The Pistons. It's been reported numerous times that they're still sellers. When Tom Gores comes out and says we want to be more than an 8th seed, I think that really is telling.
Okay. This isn't like me getting into basketball type question, because this is like legitimately. I've heard this 100 million times, and I'm just now picking up that you're not saying the E in Tom Gores' last name.
Tom Gores?
Is it Gores?
Gores?
I've heard Gores.
Tom Gores, Mr. Gores. I don't know.
I've never heard Gores before. I heard. I
didn't do this podcast to.
heard Dwayne Casey go Gore at one point, but that was when he got hired and didn't know his name. And I've never heard Gore's.
I don't know what his name is, nor do I. With all respect,
like I said, I just picked up on it. I just was like confused. Like, is his name really pronounced Gores? And I've just been saying it wrong for like 6 years.
Gores, whatever his name is. With all due respect to him, when he comes out and says they want to be more than an AC, I think that's pretty telling. So, again, we'll see. I mean, as I mentioned already, I don't think your fear is going to come true. I really don't. This team blows. This team is so bad. I mean, unlike the Lions, and I've mentioned this on this pod before, unlike the Lions, they can use the injury excuse, but they're not. You know, Ed Stefanski is admitting that they're bad and they're selling at the trade deadline. While the Lions, on the other hand, you know, they tried to buy.
Lions free week, Tony. All I'm saying is, this Eastern Conference is a lot worse than you're giving it credit for.
I'm not saying the East is good. I'm not saying it's good at all.
No, but
I'm just implying.
I think you're underestimating how bad every other team is, though.
I think you're underestimating how bad the Pistons are. This is a team that can't beat the Wizards, the Bulls, or the Charlotte Hornets. Three of the worst teams in basketball. They can't beat them.
Yeah, and those teams still have a worse record than the Pistons.
Because they're bad, and the Pistons can't beat them. that means they're also bad.
Who the hell are the Pistons beating? They got 16 wins.
They've gotten a couple wins they shouldn't have, beating Boston a couple nights ago because Boston overlooked the Pistons. It's actually funny. On the pod last week, the day that the Pistons beat the Celtics, I said that the Pistons were beating the Celtics, and they did.
Yep. And my fears were coming true.
Dude, they're not making the playoffs.
No, I mean, from last week when I was like, oh, they're gonna find a way to somehow beat this team, and I'm gonna lose it, and they did, and I lost it.
Again, I'm gonna tell you what I tell everybody. One win, I just don't think is going to be that impactful. This isn't the NFL where it's a 16-game season. They're also still in a draft lottery.
No, but I mean, you got that. If you're the 9th pick and the 8th pick gets the first, or in the 8th seed in the draft gets the first pick, you're gonna feel really bad that you won those 2 games.
Tanking doesn't work, especially in the NBA and NHL, because of that stupid draft lottery. Like all the people with the Red Wings, I make jokes all the time on Twitter that the Wings are tanking. They're just really, really bad. And people are like, no, it's good for the tank. Yeah, but they still have to win the ping pong ball lottery.
They got to make the best pottery.
They have to win I try to combine ping pong with lottery. The ping pong ball lottery, they still have to win that to get Alexis Lafreniere. Like, the tank isn't successful until you get that number 1 pick. And in the NBA and NHL, just because you're the worst team doesn't mean you'll get it. I mean, last year
has made that even worse.
Yeah, last year the Pelicans were like, I don't even remember what their odds were. Not top 5. They got the first pick. Grizzlies were out of the top 5. They got the second pick. Lakers were like the 11th best odds. They shot up to 4. Like, it's just so stupid of a system. But again, I don't want to talk about that right now. I think that's enough Pistons talk. Thought we talked a lot there.
Yep.
Let's talk more fun stuff.
NFL playoffs.
Yeah, Super Bowl 54.
Super Bowl.
Did you watch any of the games this past weekend?
No, I was really busy on Sunday, but I caught a lot of the highlights.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, here's how I want to attack the conference championship games. We'll do what we did for the divisional round games last week. We'll go game by game, talk about the storylines for both teams. So, let's start with the AFC title game. First of all, Kansas City.
They played out of their minds.
You know, I'm a firm believer that if D Ford did not line up off sides in last year's AFC Championship game, the Chiefs would have won the Super Bowl last year.
Do you think so?
Yes. This Chiefs team is better than that Chiefs team. It's not even close. I mean, first of all, Patrick Mahomes has only gotten better. We'll talk about him in a second here. But also, you know, the Chiefs last year, we like to call them a glorified Big 12 team. Explosive offense, but awful defense. This year, completely different. The Chiefs' defense this year is actually really good. You know, they got a bunch of playmakers on that defense. Guys like Honey Badger, Terrell Suggs, Chris Jones, et cetera, et cetera.
You know what this team kind of reminds me of?
What?
LSU. This LSU team. Well, they got.
I don't know. I think LSU's defense is a lot better, but.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they did find a way to stop that monster that was Derrick Henry. So I think that defense deserves.
Well, having Chris
a lot
Jones
of
helps
credit.
that. I mean, Chris
Yeah.
Jones might be the best D tackle in football, and no one talks about him. But yeah, the Chiefs' defense has been really good this year, very quietly, really good. While Patrick Mahomes, man, he is absolutely insane. Patrick Mahomes has definitely proven to me, at least in these playoffs, that he's the best quarterback in football.
I think. I think not only is he the best quarterback in football, I think if he wins the Super Bowl here, I think you got to start looking at him as the best quarterback in the last 5-10 years. I think he already.
Are we going to ignore Tom Brady exists? I hate Tom Brady,
Tom Brady
but we can't
is
talk.
not really the reason they won those 2 Super Bowls.
Oh boy, you're going to trigger a lot of angry people with that comment.
Listen. They.
Oh, off topic. Troy's dinner's here.
Oh shit, dude.
I hope it's okay. Honestly,
Did you screw it up?
no, the bottom of the grill started catching on fire, so it was a little bit more cooked than.
All right.
This podcast is off the rails, but it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
If you
Tom
want,
Brady played really well in the Super Bowl against the Falcons. He played really well in that game. Is he the reason that they got there?
we're not turning this into a Tom Brady conversation. I
Well,
hate
you brought
Tom
it
Brady.
up. You brought it up, so I just.
I
figured
didn't
I'd
bring
have
him
to-
up.
No, you brought up the fact that I was gonna get some shit for it, so I feel like I had
Yeah,
to defend
because you
myself.
can't just spew
Well,
out an opinion
okay.
like that.
I know, but you let I have that opinion. You tell me I'm gonna get shit, and then you won't let me defend myself for it. Okay.
I'm not letting you not defend yourself.
Well, you're getting all heated the fact that I'm going into this topic.
I'm not heated. I hate Tom Brady.
Just let him be heated. That's fine.
He's just getting his voice really loud and talking to me like that. So.
Oh my God, Troy. Oh my God.
I like how Tony thinks I'm actually dumb when we're on this podcast.
He thinks you're a complete moron.
I didn't say anything. How did this turn into a bashing me segment? All I said was
Troy, bite that burger.
I say something, and then you say, "Oh, you're gonna get shit for it."
Defend yourself.
And then I try and defend myself. And he's like, "When did this become a Tom Brady topic?"
Because I don't want to talk about Tom Brady.
Well, you got to let me defend myself.
Then
Jesus
go ahead.
Christ.
Then go ahead.
My God.
My mic's away. Go.
He's not the reason they went to that Super Bowl against the Falcons. I think they had a pretty good defense that year, and here he comes pulling the mic back already.
Doesn't mean I'm going to talk.
I thought that was kind of funny. I'll put the mic away. Wait a minute.
It doesn't mean I'm going to talk. I wasn't going to say anything. I was just pulling it back. Keep going.
I think he's the reason they won the Super Bowl that year. I will give him credit for that. But I think Patrick Mahomes is for sure better than he was in that season this season.
Can I talk?
Go ahead.
Do you think Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time?
Yes, of all time, yes.
So then, I'm missing your point now.
I think the whole talks more than the recent in terms of Tom Brady. I think his whole career defines him more than the last 5 years.
Tom only really fell off this year.
No, it was last year too. He was.
He
They were basically.
He was better last year than this year.
They were basically running little dink and dump routes last year with him.
But
he was passing 5 yards a play and having his wide receivers do all the work for him.
But he was still at least doing better last year. This year he wasn't the same guy.
Well, he's not the same guy as he was last year. He wasn't the same guy as he was the year prior.
So you're going to discredit everything Tom Brady has done the last 10 years because of one bad year?
No. I just think you got to put Patrick Mahomes in the conversation with Tom Brady, with an Aaron Rodgers, with a Russell Wilson.
No, you have to put him in the conversation. I don't think I'm going to go as far as you did and say he is the best.
I think I said put him in the conversation. Maybe I didn't. I misspoke.
I don't remember.
That's the case.
I don't remember you saying put him in the conversation. I think you said.
I think you guys start talking about him as possibly.
No, I don't disagree with that.
That's what I meant.
No. You said he is the best quarterback of the last 5 to 10 years.
I think you got to start talking about him as
Yes.
maybe the top quarterback.
Yes.
In the last 5-10 years. I think that's what I said. If not, I misspoke. But I think that's what I said.
That's what I was looking for.
Okay. And
that's maybe I heard you wrong, but I swear I thought you said he is the best quarterback. But no, you can put him in the conversation.
And I mean, once we get to this this other game, where we can talk about how Patrick Mahomes might actually, if he wins the Super Bowl, be on the same level, if not better than another quarterback in the league.
Who? Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Screw Aaron Rodgers. I don't care about him. But no, I mean Patrick Mahomes. I don't think there's many quarterbacks that were able to do what Patrick Mahomes did over the last 2 weeks.
I agree.
Being down 24-0 at home against the Texans, being down 17-7 against the Titans in the AFC Championship game. It's a good burger.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Troy bit in, and he likes it. I was scared he was going to be like, I think you hyped it up a little bit too much. I always hype up everything too much.
It's like biting into a steak with a bun on top. It's like that good.
Wow.
Sweet.
It's like that good of a patty.
Wow. But yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I don't think many quarterbacks will be able to do what he did over the last 2 weeks, and he's a really good player. Like I said, I think these past 2 weeks have shown that he is the best quarterback in football. But he has one more game to go. And if he gets that first Super Bowl ring at the age of 24, then yeah, I will agree that you have to put him in the conversation.
What would it take him to be considered, like, undoubtedly?
You can't
another Super Bowl ring?
You can't beat Tom Brady. I mean, I hate Tom Brady, but I can't say that he's not the best quarterback of this generation. Of the next generation. No, I'm not. That's not. I'm not implying that's what you said.
That was the question that I was asking. That was the question I was asking you. When do you put him in that conversation? And we were already talking about quarterback put him in the last 5-10 years.
When do I put him in the conversation?
Or not conversation, but when do you put him as the top?
If he gets a second ring. The second championship is always when you put those guys to the elite level in any sport. You know, Michigan State basketball. That's why I want to see Tom get that second championship, because that will cement him as like, yeah, this guy's like the guy.
Next year, I do want to kind of the best way to see this whole thing play out would be the three guys that are definitely in the running for quarterback of the decade at the moment: Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. I want to see them in the championship games next year, just to see which team, which
the Packers,
which
dude.
quarterback will come out the most clutch.
No, screw the Packers, dude. No. But
Packers lose. You got the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
I'd rather have the Seahawks in the Super Bowl than the Packers.
Okay, then root for the Seahawks next year. I'm just saying I want the three teams there, just so I can see which quarterback is the most clutch. And whoever wins that Super Bowl next year would be the best quarterback in the decade.
I really don't need to see them face off against each other to know which one is more clutch. I think they're all really clutch.
I would find it fun because, like I said, one of those quarterbacks wins, they're the best quarterback of the decade. Aaron Rodgers wins, he's the best quarterback of the decade, and Russell Wilson wins, so on and so forth. Because it's that second ring.
They're all really good talents. I mean, no one's disputing that. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes obviously really, really good.
Yeah.
Don't know how we turned into a Tom Brady topic, but
it wasn't a Tom Brady topic. I just had to defend myself for 2 minutes because you were telling me that I was gonna get lampooned. So I just
get lampooned for what you said, but I'll defend you for a second.
I appreciate it.
For a second, I'll defend you because I can't stand Tom Brady, so I could care less. But As for the Tennessee Titans, though, to quickly wrap up the AFC Championship game, I mean, I tweeted this out on Sunday. You got to give all the credit in the world to the Tennessee Titans. They should not have been there. I mean, they went through their performance over the last 3 weeks was insane. I mean, in week 17, they even have a playoff spot clinched. They went into Houston, beat Houston, given with their backups, Houston's backups, that is, but they still won that game. They went into Foxborough, beat the freaking Patriots, and then went to Baltimore and beat the Ravens, who came into the game on a 12-game win streak with the MVP of the league. Like, what they did was unbelievable. And Derrick Henry established himself as a star in this league throughout the past 3 games and the playoffs. Ryan Tannehill, great story, how the Dolphins just kind of dumped him. He went to Tennessee, helped them get to the AFC Championship game. And, also Mike Vrabel. He at least established himself as one Patriot disciple that will work out. Mike Vrabel is such a smart head coach. Tennessee's got a bright future. Now, they have some decisions to make in the offseason. They got to pay Derrick Henry a fat contract, and they got to figure out what to do with their quarterback situation.
Honestly, if I'm the Titans, I don't care. Give Derrick Henry his money.
No, you have to, but you have to figure out the quarterback situation, too. Like, is Tannehill your future? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But, Tennessee, give them all the credit in the world. As for the NFC Championship game, I mean, simply put for me...
It's what we wanted. It's what we wanted.
Simply put for me, it put a big smile on my face to see the Packers get smashed. But to me, the San Francisco 49ers, I think, should be the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I mean, with all due respect to Kansas City, the stars are aligning for KC to win that game, with Patrick Mahomes being talked about as possibly the best quarterback of this league. Andy Reid, his second Super Bowl, trying to get that first ring. And just the storyline behind the Chiefs in general, it's really aligning for them to win. But, man, I've been high on the 49ers all season long. Going back to, week 5, I started to notice that they were looking good, and people were like, Tony, you're being crazy. Stop thinking so high of the Niners. They'll be out of it by November. But they only got better. They only got more complete as the season went on, even with injuries. And here they are. I mean, the 49ers are such a complete football team. Offensively, defensively, coaching-wise, they got some really good coaches. Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, so on and so forth. I can't bail on the 49ers now. I've been on their bandwagon all season long. I can't bail on them now. I really do believe they win this game.
I completely agree with you. I think the 49ers, I was right alongside you, in week 4, week 5, that the 49ers were definitely...
That.
I thought the 49ers were a team not to be messed with.
People were calling me crazy.
I thought that. I mean, it was mainly because of how good their defense was and how much in their stake I had, because I had their defense in fantasy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I was always streamlined into how good that defense really was, and I think that was seeing how much they just dominated each game they played. I think it was pretty clear from early on in the season how great they were going to be. And I mean, this playoffs for them has just all but confirmed my thoughts and your thoughts that this team is the favorite, and I completely think that they have a good shot at winning.
Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, personally, between the two, I want the Chiefs to win, but I really think 49ers are going to win. And honestly, good for them if they do. I mean, I really like the 49ers too. I just like the Chiefs just a smidge more.
I'm not rooting for anybody in this game. If the 49ers win, awesome. If the Chiefs win, awesome. I'm fine either way. And that's what I think is going to make the Super Bowl really fun. The fact that I think everybody can get behind both teams, obviously, unless you're a division rival of them. But comparing it to last year's Super Bowl, I still don't believe the Rams and the Patriots last year were the two best teams left standing.
No.
I still believe it was the Chiefs and the Saints. The Chiefs, obviously, like I said earlier in the program, one offsides call I think ruin them a Super Bowl.
And let's not even get going on that Rams versus Saints game.
Well, before I get to there, also with the Chiefs Patriots, the stupid NFL overtime rule where Patrick Mahomes didn't even see the field in overtime. That's still crazy to me. And then obviously in the Rams Saints game, you alluded to it, that pass interference call, the non-pass interference call, I should say.
God.
Like last year's Super Bowl, first of all, the game sucked, but
The game just blows.
that game was awful. But also, I just didn't feel like those were the two best teams left standing. This year, I completely feel like these are the two best teams left standing.
Yeah.
Especially the 49ers. They are clearly the best team in the NFC. It's not even close.
Yeah.
AFC, if you want to make an argument, you feel like Baltimore would have been a tougher opponent. You do you. I still believe the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. And like I said, I feel like these are the two best teams left standing. It should be a really, really entertaining football game.
I think we are finally going to have that Super Bowl for the ages that we've been missing out on for the past few years. I think what was the last Super Bowl that was really exciting? Was that
The Eagles-Patriots, I think, was pretty exciting because the Patriots lost.
Yeah, that was actually a really good game. It was just
last-
back and forth. I think that Falcons-Patriots game was really good too.
Yeah. Last year's Super Bowl was just so dreadful, though. The defensive battle. Like, I know there are a bunch of people that are like, oh, I love watching defense. I don't. I don't. I like watching offense and, like, high-scoring matchups. And
Yeah.
I think this Super Bowl could be high-scoring,
Yeah, I think the Chiefs have shown that they can outplay a great defense. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it'll just be up to the 49ers to match them.
Jimmy Garoppolo only threw 8 passes in the NFC Championship game. He'll have to throw more in the Super Bowl.
I think so.
There's no question about that.
I think so.
But then again, at the same time, if the Chiefs and if the Niners, could get that run game going, hell, it's oh my God!
It'll be a great game.
Like they had 285 rushing yards against the Packers. Raheem
Well,
Raheem
Packers-
Mostert had 220 rushing yards and 4 TDs.
Now, devil's advocate, the Packers were resting solely on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders.
The Packers were always frauds. We all knew that. I said that in July that this Packers team was a fraud. And,
Was it the worst 13-3 team in the last 30 years or something that statistically?
I never believed they were a 13-3 team. They literally never led the Lions this season and won both games.
That's just two fraud games.
I mean, I never bought into the Packers this year, and I also never bought into the Vikings despite their playoff win, which, if people want to make the argument that the Niners face 2 fraudulent teams in the playoffs, you can do that, but I still don't think you should discredit the way they've dominated those 2 games.
No, the fact that they have dominated those 2 games against fraudulent opponents just shows you that it doesn't matter if they faced them or not. They still killed them.
Yeah.
And, I think this is their real testament to whether or not they deserve it, and I think they do.
Let me ask you this. I brought up this topic on Trash Talk. It was fun. I want to bring it up to you now.
Okay.
Let's compare the 49ers and Chiefs. For me personally, the only edge I give Kansas City is at quarterback. Run game, I would go with the Niners.
I agree.
Offensive line, I would go with the Niners.
I agree.
Wide receivers / tight ends, I would go with the Niners.
Yes.
But that is really up in the air because they're both really good units.
Yeah, that's what I had to think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
But would you give the Niners the edge?
In the wide receiver, you got
Deebo Samuel, Emmanuel Sanders, George Kittle,
on the other side. You got Tyreek Hill,
Sammy Watkins,
Sammy Watkins.
Travis Kelce. I personally give the edge to San Francisco, but it's kind of a toss-up. It's a thinker.
I'll go Chiefs for wide receiver.
Okay, so offensively, I only give them the edge at quarterback. You give them both wide receivers / tight ends and quarterback. So,
I think the Chiefs receivers are a more wide range of bunch.
that's fair. I just really like Deebo Samuel. I wanted him to be a Lion. I know this is a Lion-free episode, but I wanted him as a Lion last year in the draft. I really did. I liked that kid a lot.
Yeah.
And he's been a star with San Francisco. No, he doesn't look like a rookie. No way.
not at all.
Absolutely not.
I mean, he's already playing on the same level as Travis Kelce, and I think that shows. That he's way ahead of his.
I mean,
way ahead of
as
his
Travis
time.
Kelce or Tyreek Hill? Because he's a wide receiver.
I thought you said George Kittle.
No, I said Deebo Samuel.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought we were talking about George Kittle.
George Kittle's really good. And him and Travis Kelce are the two best tight ends of football.
Yeah.
Which one's number one? That's not us to debate.
My bad.
No.
Deebo Samuel?
Deebo Samuel.
Okay.
Yeah, George Kittle's not a rookie.
He's yeah.
It's
This is breakout season.
It's his third year, I believe.
Breakout season. I think the last 2 seasons he wasn't really involved.
Well, he was even good last year, but he had C.J. Beathard at quarterback, Nick Mullins, and the Niners were a two-win team, so you didn't really know who George Kittle was.
Yeah.
But this year, you know who George Kittle is.
For sure.
But defensively, obviously, you got to give the edge to the 49ers. I mean, for God's sakes. Every single category of that Niners defense is disgusting. Defensive line, you got guys like D. Ford, Nick Bosa. Dude, Nick Bosa, speaking of not looking like a rookie, Jesus. He doesn't look like a rookie. He might win Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie, dude.
I always said that, if your brother is somebody that's already really good at football, you draft him.
Dude, the Bosa brothers.
You draft him.
The
Come on,
Bosa
with
family.
Between the Watts and the Bosas, you draft whoever the hell comes out of that family tree.
Dude, the Bosa family is... They're pretty good at this football thing.
A little bit. I don't know where they get it.
So, yeah, I mean, defensive line, dominant. Stopping the run, dominant. You have linebackers like K'Wan Alexander just beasting and feasting. In the secondary, Richard Sherman. Oh, my Lord. Richard Sherman.
He's playing like he's not 32 years old.
And people are upset at Richard Sherman for talking again.
That's what you expect.
Dude.
He's in the Super Bowl. He deserves it.
Yeah, when Richard Sherman is playing as good as he is, I don't care. He can say what he wants to say when you're doing that good.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of reminds me of Joe Burrow. People were upset that he was smoking a cigar after the win. Dude, after the season he had in the championship win against Clemson, you could smoke whatever you want. If you walk the walk, you can do the talk, man. You do you. But yeah, I mean, San Francisco, they have the edge for me at defense, obviously. And then coaching-wise, it's a coin flip because they both have elite offensive coaches, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, and they both have...
Kyle Shanahan he's basically the part of the Bosa family of NFL coaches, I think.
Yeah.
Where it just seems like all of them are pretty good.
Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
That's good 1-2 punch.
That's a good one too. And I think he's got that bloodline to really show. And I think
he's a smart football mind, dude.
Yeah.
Smart offensive guy, dude. And then
but I will say Andy Reid is also a genius.
Yeah, I'm not discrediting Andy Reid at all. I'm just saying they're both brilliant offensive minds.
And I'll also give the edge to Andy Reid, I guess, as far as coaching. Just because of experience, he's been there before.
So was Kyle Shanahan to an extent.
True.
He was the OC. But he was still the play caller with the Falcons.
Yeah.
He's been here to an extent. Yes. Not as a head coach, but to an extent.
But even just overall experience, Andy Reid's got him beat there.
The thing, too, with the Chiefs and Niners coaching staffs are that they both have elite coordinators. The Chiefs have Eric Bieniemy. The Niners have Robert Saleh. Both elite for Bieniemy offensive OC or OC. Saleh elite DC. So what?
Want to get John involved in this next conversation, though.
You just want to move to baseball?
Yeah, one more thing, though, about the Super Bowl.
We could talk about the Super Bowl next week, too, obviously.
Yes, we can. But I just want to get your early Super Bowl predictions. Final here. Niners.
Like I said, I've been high on the Niners for way too long, even when people call me crazy for making my NFL Power Rankings video on Twitter. Week 5, I'm like, yeah, I have the Niners in my top 5, and people are like, the hell are you thinking? The Niners are going to be done by November. I'm like, I don't know. Watch out for this team, and here they are, playing for a Super Bowl in 2 weeks. I've been riding on them for too long. I can't bail on them now. I just think they're a more complete team than Kansas City, but at the same time, as I mentioned already, I would not be upset to see the Chiefs win either. I mean, this isn't like a Patriots type thing where it's like, oh, like last year, go Rams go, because I hate the Patriots or whatever. I'm rooting for both teams.
Yeah, It's up. It's either team I would be happy with.
Just be a good game.
Yeah, just make it competitive. That's all we got to say.
Yeah.
But I will say I'll take the 49ers as well.
I thought you said earlier that you were taking the Chiefs.
I like the Chiefs more.
Oh, okay.
But I think the 49ers will win the game.
Okay. Well, again, we'll talk more about the Super Bowl next week. And
I want to next week for the Super Bowl, I want to break out some stat lines or some Vegas stat lines and see what your opinion is.
Oh.
Like over-unders and stuff like that, and let's get really in-depth on the Super Bowl.
Let's do stats.
Make it a stats-heavy week.
Oh, Lord. Speaking of Vegas, though, did you see...
I was going to say, let's cut the episode right there. Stats heavy week. The fuck are you thinking?
My toes curled. I like stats.
Yeah, I like stats, too, so John, you're in for a ride.
I got wool socks on and my toes ripped right through.
Speaking of Vegas, though, this is off topic, but before we talk about the Astros, did you see the NFL 2020 draft stage?
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And considering I've seen what the Bellagio fountains look like up close, that's going to be amazing.
Big siren by Troy.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas, boys.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, half the country hasn't. But, yeah, the fountains are beautiful, and that stage is going to be unbelievable to catch in person.
I thought that was a meme at first. Then when I saw it's the real thing, I'm like, dude, that's sweet.
It's so cool.
I
don't know how they're going to do it, because the logistics, the fountain's back right up to the Las Vegas Strip. And I don't know if they're going to have to close the Strip off, like that section.
I would imagine they're going to close half of the Strip for the draft.
Yeah.
Like Nashville last year, they closed half of Broadway. So
That's true.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
No.
Okay, well it's like Vegas where it's like a strip, but they call it Broadway. They closed like half of that off. So
Okay.
I would imagine they would close some of the Strip.
Yeah, but the Strip is the Strip in
Yeah,
Vegas. It's
I know.
not Broadway in Nashville.
But it's still the NFL draft. I mean,
Yeah.
the draft has become a worldwide event. So, yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be cool.
It's really cool looking.
I
love it.
Did you see the World of Isaac tweet that it's all fun and games until the Lions draft pick jumps into the water?
He drowns himself.
I know you wanted to be Lions free, but I had to get that out there.
It's good. It's good.
That made me laugh when I saw it. But yeah, the draft is going to be fun. And also, speaking of the Raiders, apparently the Vegas Raiders are now officially a thing.
Great. I love that.
Chucky, dude.
Chucky.
Vegas Raiders head coach. Look at Vegas go. They went from having nothing to having 2 sports teams. How about that? Who would have thought like 10 years ago that Vegas would have sports teams, not team, teams?
I mean, do you think that this is all because of sports betting becoming legalized?
Vegas brings money. It brings
does
money
bring
and
money.
attention. Betting has a lot to do with it, but Vegas also brings money and attention.
Yeah.
Like the Vegas Golden Knights, dude. Who would have thought that they would have had like a really, really big fan base? They do because of Vegas.
Well, I think that's also because they went to the Stanley Cup Finals.
No, they had
first
no.
season.
They had a big fan base before that. Those Vegas guys and girls were all supporting them. So, God bless Vegas.
Yep.
Anywho, yeah, you want to talk about the Houston Astros and their scandal?
Yeah. I want to get John's opinion on this thing. I kind of wanted him to pull up the video of the Jose Altuve home run.
Well, we can describe it too. I mean, he doesn't need to watch it.
Yeah, but it's all really good to watch. It like really helps you.
So, John,
put yourself into the mind space.
Here's the thing: the Houston Astros are a baseball team.
Okay.
That's all you need to know.
No, you need to know this too.
No.
From the year 2017 to currently now, they're like one of the best teams in baseball, and they won the championship in 2017. Okay.
Do you recognize the name Justin Verlander?
Yeah.
He's on that team.
Okay.
So they're really good. They won a championship in 2017.
Okay.
It was discovered that during their championship season and throughout the past couple of years, they have been using cameras in like center field of the stadium to steal like the catcher's signals to see what the pitch is going to be. And then they relay it to the dugout, and the way they relay it to the batter is by banging on trash cans.
And that was just for the first season. They cheated for 3 seasons.
And won a championship because of it.
Yeah. And went to another one.
Yeah, they went to another
I
one.
guess it's up to the person. I mean, what's the game of baseball? You know, like is that part of the game? Is like, you don't know what's gonna happen, or is it, well, try to find out? You know,
That is actually a good conversation that people are having.
Sign stealing has been a part of baseball forever, but it's like someone standing at second base and like looking like, oh, it's a changeup. Hey, like they use hand signals and stuff. Hey, it's like a changeup, whatever.
but they're using hand signals
Yeah.
in general
using
for everything
technology
already.
Using technology though to get that signal.
That I guess could be a.
What, honestly,
That's a big no-no
That
in
could be-
Major League Baseball.
Well, if that's a big no-no, then yeah, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's not already said to be a big no-no, then I guess they can't say anything about it.
honestly,
It's a big no-no now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
There were a
I'm
lot-
sure now it is.
a lot of jobs were lost because of this situation.
Oh.
they fired their general manager, their team president, wasn't it?
No, their manager.
Oh, yeah, the manager, the coach.
3 coaches.
It's a lot of jobs.
Three coaches lost their jobs because of this scandal. One in Houston, one with the Boston team, and one with the second New York team. They all lost their jobs because they were involved.
And one of the
How did they find out
one
what
of
they were
the
doing?
one of the guys that lost their jobs was a player turned coach.
A former, how they found out that this was happening, a former player snitched on them.
What a bitch! What an ass!
But
That's funny.
another thing about this whole thing, from 2018 to 2019, they changed up their method. Instead of having
Reportedly.
a camera guy relay them the signal and banging on a trash can, they instead used buzzers attached to the players' shoulders, allegedly.
Now we're cheating.
Now we're really
Now
cheating.
we're just cheating.
And depending on how many times the thing buzzed.
Because
is
here's the
what
thing: you
pitch
bang on a
use.
trash can, everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
You know, but no one knows it. I don't know. Yeah, no, the buzzer's definitely cheating.
Yeah.
Because like not everybody knows he has the buzzer.
No, it's underneath his shirt and everything.
That's illegal.
Like a wire.
Yeah, that's totally illegal.
Yeah.
That's just having a gadget that the other team does not have.
And a thing that everybody noticed was when they looked at one of the players on Twitter, he had a profile. He has his profile picture of him interviewing after a win,
Yeah.
and you could see something on his shoulder
Oh,
that
no.
looked like a wire coming up with.
I just
tape
had a
over
surgery done.
It. Well, he's like, it was confetti.
It was confetti. That's funny. Baseball's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. It is funny. But I do want to show him the Jose Altuve home run because it's too golden not to show him.
I mean, if you want to show them, go ahead. But like,
You show me after if you want.
I don't know, but it's better to get your face on,
Okay.
or at least
It's not,
not
gonna
your
be on
face.
camera.
It's not gonna be on camera,
but like, yeah, this is like one of the biggest scandals in sports. It's like
That's
a big deal right now.
okay. During one of the seasons when they were wearing a wire, supposedly, one of the players hit a walk-off home run to win the game.
It was in October.
Yeah, it was during the playoffs, or was it during the?
It was the game-winning,
It was the game
series-clinching homer against the Yankees to send them to the World Series.
Yes. Now you know how important that this walk-off home run was. The tradition when you hit a home run that important, a walk-off home run that important, the players rip your jersey.
Well,
Okay.
they celebrate at home plate, and eventually your jersey gets ripped off anyway.
Yeah.
it's just kind of okay. It's not like a said thing, but it's
Right.
like it
just
happens.
happens.
Yeah.
Now, this is him running around the bases and looking at everybody waiting for him at home plate.
So just kind of describe what you're watching, so we're not dead.
Well, I guess I just see him jogging in slow mo, like just gripping his jersey with all of his life.
And he's wagging his finger saying, "Don't rip it off."
Don't touch me.
Yeah, because of the buzzer.
Yeah.
Right now it's just showing
your mic cut off.
for buzzers.
Your mic cut off.
There you go. That's funny.
Your mic cut off.
You hear me now?
Yeah, now I
Yeah.
can hear you. What were you
That's
saying?
funny. I forgot what I just said. It was
You,
just,
you said,
it was
you said that
basically-
was hilarious. Yeah.
It was just funny, yeah.
And then afterwards, he was asked about that. He's like, "Yeah, my wife doesn't like it when my jersey gets ripped off."
Yeah.
So he
she gets
bla-
mad.
Oh boy.
He blamed his wife. He blamed his girl.
He's like, I get embarrassed. It's like, why are you embarrassed? What the hell? You're an athlete.
My wife don't want this done. Please don't do it.
But yeah, Troy, this is one of the biggest scandals I've seen in sports, period.
I think this is the biggest
I
scandal
mean,
of current sports history.
Like, we weren't alive, obviously, for the Black Sox, Pete Rose, or
Nobody
the
was.
steroids era.
Nobody currently alive was.
Well, there's old folk that saw the steroid era up and
That's true. Yeah.
saw Pete Rose. Back in my day, Pete Rose was the...
I don't even think the steroid era is even close to this.
No,
Not
nothing
at all.
is close to this. Like, even in the NFL, like, Spygate, Deflategate? No.
Nope.
This is... They literally used cameras to relay signals and cheat. And they won a World Series because of it.
Yeah. Well, maybe Spygate comes close.
I don't know,
It's the same.
dude.
You basically described Spygate when you said that.
I don't know, dude. Spygate, the Patriots really didn't get in trouble yet. But, like, dude, like, AJ Hinch, one of the best managers in baseball, lost his job. Jeff Luhnow, from a talent evaluation standpoint, in my opinion, the best GM in baseball, lost his job.
Do you think if
Alex Cora, hold on. Alex Cora is screwed. He is never getting a job again because his name was all over that report as the mastermind who led this. And not only did he do it in Houston and win a World Series, he went to Boston and won a World Series and is under investigation for doing this.
Yeah.
And then Carlos Beltran, whose name was involved in the report as a player, he got fired from the Mets because of all this. Like, it's just such a... Oh.
Yeah,
A real shit show.
Yeah, one of the guys from the Astros went to the Boston Red Sox and is now accused of doing the same thing there.
They won a championship, too.
Hey
And
guys,
they
I
won a
just want to let you in
championship.
something. I got some experience in the Astros. I want to show you a little secret. Like they don't know now.
Yeah, when the Red Sox face the Astros, now what happens?
Dude, those...
So every single player on the Astros is a wart now. Just a wart. They're just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
No one's gonna take them.
Oh, speaking of being a piece of shit on the Astros, Justin Verlander.
Oh, no. What did Justin do?
Justin said, this is when he was still on the Tigers, so this is before he was on the Astros. He goes, we need to stop sign stealing in baseball. This is ruining the game of baseball.
But to be
And
fair...
then he goes to the Astros where that's all they do and illegally.
We need to stop this.
He walks in there and is like,
Dude, that's
hey, I
like
don't like this.
That's like playing Monopoly and saying, all right, no cheating.
To be fair, though, if you're Justin Verlander, you know this is going on. What are you going to do? Tell? I mean...
No, but I mean, maybe you put a stop to it inside your own
A-
organization. You're
AJ
like the most important player on that team.
AJ Hinch was the manager. He didn't do anything. Jeff Luhnow was the GM. He didn't do anything.
They're the ones that wanted it to start, I'm guessing. I would only assume.
they didn't. They, in the reports, they were aware this was happening, but they didn't put a stop to it. In the report, Alex Cora, his name is all over it as the mastermind behind it. It was Alex Cora, Carlos Bregman, and a bunch of other players that weren't mentioned. They just call them players after that. Who those players were, we don't know. But Alex Cora and
Allegedly,
Carlos Beltran were the two guys that were involved.
Yeah, but allegedly, my money's on Altuve and Reddick. Those are the two
I
that
don't
have
know.
been more attached to the wires and.
Regardless, though, Troy, this is what makes this whole scandal so damning for the Astros. They're tainted forever. Everybody within that organization is tainted forever. Everyone's all in uproar because their World Series championships aren't getting stripped. But even if you strip them, we're still going to look at the 2017 World Series as like, yeah, the Astros won, but they cheated.
It's so tainted that you look at a guy like Justin Verlander, who's beloved in this town.
It makes you wonder.
And people are really...
It makes you wonder about him. Like, I obviously love Justin, but I was talking about this on Trash Talk today. It makes you wonder because, you know, Trevor Bauer, former Cleveland Indians pitcher, current Cincinnati Red, he was always all over the Astros, and he always used to say, man, something's going on in Houston with their pitchers. Like, why are they all getting better with Houston? And everyone's like, Trevor's being stupid. He's being crazy. Let him fly his drone somewhere. But now that this report came out, it really makes you wonder, gee, now I really do wonder, why have all the Astros pitchers gotten really good at the second they got there? Like, Wade Miley had like a 4 ERA with the Baltimore Orioles, and then he went to Houston and had like a 2 ERA. Like, it makes you wonder.
Mike Fires?
Fires. He's the guy that leaked the report. He's the guy that snitched. Not snitched. I mean, if you're Mike Fires, the Astros trade you anyway. Screw it.
Yeah.
Screw them. You know, screw them.
My goodness.
This is a dirty, dirty scandal. Like, this is a mess.
Disgusting. I gotta take a shower after this.
But, oh.
Absolutely disgusting.
Your mic was off, John. I heard you go,
Yeah.
Like I said, Troy, like, everyone within an organization is tainted.
Yeah.
AJ Hinch and Jeff Luhnow, even though they got fired, this will follow them forever.
They'll never get another job in baseball again. I don't think.
I don't know. AJ Hinch and Jeff Luhnow, I feel like they could get a second chance, but like Alex Cora and Carlos Beltran, I don't think so. Absolutely not.
Troy's been cooking or just been eating that burger for about 40 minutes now. 45 minutes.
I told him he can eat it on the pod if he
I don't know why
wants.
he hasn't
I
been.
don't want to.
He's eating it cold now.
Yeah, it's not. It's lukewarm. It's like room temperature now.
He waited too long.
It's still good, though. It's still amazing.
I was like, you better have at least one bite while it's fresh.
Right.
One.
You were waiting and waiting and
I was sitting
waiting.
there, I was like, this motherfucker waits all the way till it's just stone cold.
But I think at this point, that kind of sums it up. The fact that we're just talking about a burger now. I think this is...
Troy wants to eat his burger and leave, so we're
know.
going to go ahead and wrap up this
Troy's ready to
episode.
clock out.
Troy's ready to go back home.
The burger was too tasty. I just want some more now. I don't even want to talk.
After he says it's lukewarm.
It's still
Lukewarm. Dude, this is a burger of the gods.
Troy has had enough. He wants to eat his lukewarm burger and go home. So, Troy, we had a good episode this week.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching this week. John, thank you for your contributions.
Yeah.
Thank you for cooking Troy's dinner and
Yes,
also
thank
being,
you so much. That was
being
fucking
on the
amazing.
pod.
Anything.
Thank you guys for watching and have a great rest of your week.